Welcome to the Paws Perspective.
The podcast where we help dog owners feel calmer, clearer and more confident by understanding what's really going on behind their dog's behaviour.
We're Pat and Molly from Flying Paws Dog Training, and each episode we break down behaviour, training and real life challenges in a way that actually makes sense.
From puppies and adolescents, breed traits and everyday training struggles, we focus on working with your dog's instincts, not against them.
Whether you're trying to prevent problems before they start or you're feeling stuck and not sure what to do next,
you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, clip on the lead,
and let's get into today's episode.
Good afternoon. How are we today, Molly?
Very good. What are we going to talk about on this episode?
It's a fun one. Why did you choose the dog you chose?
And we're talking about breeds. Yeah.
Why did you pick that breed? So we might start with you. You've had a couple of dogs. So you started off with old Murph.
Yeah.
Why did you pick a Maremma? Because when we think about them, I just think about when you came to puppy class. Like Murph's.
Can you remember back
Yes,
that
I
far?
can.
It's coming up 10 and a half years ago.
Yeah, I know. I can remember. So that was about, like you said, about 10 years ago. Really, I hadn't had that many Maremmas in class. I had some.
I think Murph was your second.
Now we see them a lot. You know, we know a lot more about Maremmas and we see them a lot more. So why did you
I think we should point
Maremma?
out when you say we see them a lot, it's not like we see golden retrievers or Labradors.
Oh, no,
or it's
not.
Still, I mean, we might get 3 in a year. Does that sound?
Yeah.
You know, they are more than, you know, like I said, you'd been doing it for a little while before. Like you've been doing it for about 18 months, I think, before I came to puppy class, and he was the second one you'd had. I should also probably at this point out that the movie Oddball, the Australian Maremma movie Oddball, had not come out when I got Murphy.
Yeah.
I do like to tell people that it's because they did go through a 101 Dalmatian phenomenon, I suppose is probably the best word, unless you can think of a better word.
No.
After the Oddball movie came out, where the breed there was a spotlight on the breed. 101 Dalmatians definitely got it worse because it was a global thing, but it was there were a lot of people that got them because they were cute dogs in a movie that did some pretty cool things and didn't understand the breed. So it was only about 12 months before I got Murphy that Oddball came out. But why did I get a Maremma? I think I've said this on here before, but at the point that I got Murphy, I probably would have taken a Hell's Rat. Like, I just wanted a dog that was my dog. So I had got to a point where we had our family miniature fox terrier, and I'd got to a point where, like, my mum and dad were like, yeah, okay, we can, you know, if you really want a dog and you really want this dog is your dog, we can start looking. So obviously coming up, you know, 11 odd years ago, 10 and a half years ago, one of the places you looked was Gumtree.
Yep.
And there were lots of breeds on there, and there were lots of breeds that I would show my dad and I would just get a flat out no. Which hindsight, like, he'll never listen to this, so he'll probably never know this, but he was probably dead right on nearly all of them. But there were two dogs before I got Murphy that we considered. The first one was a beagle, and I still will say that beagle puppies are really cute.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
And I got sucked in by how cute is this puppy. And there were some in Baghdad, and they were like not very expensive. And Dad was like, you know, we can go and have a look at them, but you know, they are bred to put their nose on the ground and go. Think about where we live. Think about if it got out, they could go for, you know, kilometres.
Because you live in the country.
Yeah, you know, we've got paddocks around us. We've got pines. We've got pine plantation, a little one. Dams. We've got, you know, cows, sheep paddocks. Like we're slightly more rural. that, you know, if it went, it's not like it went in town and it'd get to a corner and someone will go, oh, hello, doggy, where have you come from? Like, you know, so I think in hindsight, as much as I do like them, that was not going to be the best choice. But we also, before Murphy, looked at another Maremma puppy. And that was, and this was probably the first time I had seen or heard of a Maremma. And I showed it to Dad. I think my dad looked at it and thought, looks like a golden retriever. But he did a little bit of research and he was like, yeah, no, that seems okay. Why we didn't end up going with that dog was we were about to go away as a family for a week. And the people that were looking after our fox terrier, Dad was like, I really don't think it's fair to get a puppy and then go, hi, we're going away now. Can you look after the puppy as well? Which was fair enough. And that dog would have been huge. That dog was 10 weeks, I think, advertised, and it was already 12 kilos.
Yep.
So it would have been like
a
lot bigger than Murph. But then, yeah, so I suppose I started to look into Maremmas a lot more, and Murphy came up. And I think if we didn't live where we lived and we didn't have the lifestyle that we have, I wouldn't have got, I wouldn't have been allowed to get him. I would have had to get something else. So I think for me, as a 21-year-old who had no idea about anything, I was very lucky that I had someone who had some experience with dogs who was saying to me, yes to this breed, no to that breed.
Yep.
Because, yeah, I don't think he'll ever know how lucky he is to live the life that he does.
Murph, that is.
Yes. Yeah, Murphy.
Yeah. So he's always had a few sheep and some chooks, but
at one point he didn't have sheep. He had goats.
Oh yeah, he likes doesn't mind the couch though as well.
Yeah, he would hated to have been a working Maremma. Interestingly, there was only him and his brother in the litter, and his brother actually went to be a working Maremma somewhere. And I hope they got the right dog, because this one wouldn't have been any good.
Oh, you never know. Never know. So why then did you go back for a border collie?
Well, interestingly, I didn't actually originally. My next dog wasn't. I didn't want a border collie. I wanted an Australian Shepherd, which people will say like they're very similar,
mm-hmm.
and they are,
mm-hmm.
but they're also really different.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a breeder that I liked, and there was a few other breeders when I realised this breeder probably wasn't going to breed for a while, and I wasn't ready anyway. But I'd followed a few border collie breeders because I do like border collie breeders. I think why I probably wanted an Aussie was the girl I originally wanted to pup off. I'd seen her dogs.
Yep.
I'd seen a few of her dogs, and I quite liked her dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But I always knew I wanted something that was going to be one littler than Murph.
Yep.
But two had a little bit more go than Murph.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably some arguments that I didn't get that in a border collie. You've seen a few more border collies in your life than me. You can tell me if you think that's a fair comment or not.
Yeah, I think it's fairly fair. He's pretty laid back and quiet.
Although we have just discovered he really likes your coffee machine.
Yeah, he does.
About an hour ago, didn't we? He actually acted like a border collie when the coffee machine turned on. Went, oh my God, this is so exciting. Which for a minute got me really like, oh my God, he can actually be a border collie. But now it's like, okay, we're going to do some calm behaviour around the coffee machine. But I think, I just wanted something. I wanted something that was a little bit more active, I suppose, and a little bit easier to handle if the problems that I had with Murph became the same problems, because as I've spoken about on here before, when Murphy hit some of his reactivity, he was like pushing 50 kilos.
Yeah.
If not probably 50 kilos. I think he was at his healthy heaviest, 50 kilos. That I'm not a very, we say big person. I'm only I'm not very tall. So it was,
What to hold.
I think probably at my lightest and at his heaviest, there might have only been about 15 or 20 kilos between us.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot. So I just gave up on doing it. So I did want something that was going to be a bit more active, that I could take for a walk, that I could, do all these sorts of things with, and know that I could not that I couldn't handle Murph, but You
It
know
was
what I mean? It
easier.
was easier to handle.
And it's not just, it's also as they get older, hoiking them in the car and,
Hmm.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I had followed Fox's breeder for a little while, and I think it was just what do they say? Serendipitous timing.
Yep.
And Fox came along.
Yep.
Um, and I think I probably won't choose a border collie maybe for my next breed. I think, I may be someone that will like having different breeds and seeing
Yep.
what they're like, what they're doing. But let's go through your dogs. You've had a border collie, then you had another border collie, then you had a border collie Smithfield, then you had a border collie, then you went back to the same breeder and got its brother from a different litter, so that was a border collie, and now you've got Zanny, that shock horror, our border collie. You did have I like to call him your red-headed stepchild, Craig's blue heeler in there, but
Yeah.
you're very adamant he was never yours. So, why one did you choose a border collie, and two, why have you stuck with a border collie? And I would like you to say something more than because they're the best breeder dog in the world.
So I lived on just a few acres. We had 5 acres.
With your mum.
Yep, I was living at home with mum at the time, and had left school and had a job. Had a horse. Had a ute.
Didn't have a Craig yet.
No, he's a bit later. And I used to go for a ride up the road and up into someone else's paddocks and that sort of stuff. And I suppose I'd always seen other people have dog running around, and I wanted a dog to come for a ride with me when I went for a ride up the paddock with my horse. I wanted a dog putting along, and I don't really know how it came about, but someone told me about these. I was talking to someone and said about it, and they said, "Oh, there's these pups for sale." They were just in a backyard here in Ulverston, actually, and so I got Dylan, and he was about was he 12 weeks old, I think, when I got him?
We're going back here, the memory stretching.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. So he was about 12 weeks old when I got him. And, he was a border collie, a short-haired border collie, not short, sort of a bit fluffy, but not like the ones I got later, not long-haired. So I had him for a long time, and used to muck around and just fiddle around, do a few things with him, taught him a few odds and ends, nothing special, never went to dog school or anything like that. Actually took him to working dog classes.
Your biggest claim to fame.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting times because it'd be pretty much dark when you came home from work, and I had a black and white dog and we had black sheep. So it was a bit hard to see if he was actually doing anything, but we used to have a bit of fun. And so he used to come on the horse with me. Was really good. I still had him when I met, Craig and I started going out. Craig had his blue heeler, and we used to take them up the bush, go for rides and that sort of stuff, and they used to putt along with us. So I just really enjoyed him. He was a really good dog. And then he passed away, and we'd got married by then, and were living in Ulverston, and there was a little border collie Smithfield that used to come visit us.
Yeah. So that's when you got Marina.
And that was Marina. So she wouldn't stay in their yard, just kept coming in and visiting Foster and hanging around. So they said, well, if she keeps coming to you, do you want her? And I said, yeah, I didn't have a dog. Obviously Dylan had passed. So she was, had the bit of Smithy in her. Again, shortish hair, but wasn't wiry like a Smithy, but was a little bit fluffy. So
and then she passed and you got Riley, then you got Tanner.
So we were down in Penguin then, and she passed, Foster passed, and I said I wanted another border collie. And I do. You asked me earlier why I bought a collie to go on my horse with me rather than a Kelpie or anything like that. I guess I probably didn't know that much about Kelpies back then. It was a long time ago now. I guess I
Back in the
knew.
dark ages.
Yeah, it was the dark ages.
It was the dark ages when you were doing herding.
Yeah, I probably didn't know heaps about border collies, but I guess I just liked them. I'd always liked like the cats we had were the ones I liked were black and white.
Yeah.
So I think, and I've always had black and white borders.
Yeah.
So I think the black and white was appealing to me. And I guess I just liked the look of them, and they'd run around, do stuff that I wanted to do, up the paddocks and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, when Marina passed and then and Foster passed, I said, "Oh, I can't be without a dog."
Yeah, and that's when you got rolled into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Craig said, if we're going to have another one, we want to have one of those proper ones. And I said, what's a proper one? So a proper one was a long-haired border collie. So had a lot of trouble actually finding a breeder that had pups at the time. So I got onto a lady and she said, try this other lady. So I ended up getting Riley from Linda's farm. So
No, you didn't. No,
pardon?
you didn't. You didn't get it from Linda's farm. I wasn't even there, and I know you didn't get it from Linda's farm. You got it from Lena Valley.
Lena Valley, yes, sorry.
Close but no cigar.
Started with an L, sorry, yes.
Not even the right side of the river.
Oh, well, it started with an L. Lena Valley, sorry, yes. So we went down there and got her, and
and a couple of years later, Tanner came along.
A couple of years later, yep, we got Tanner. Same breeder as you said, just different litters, very different dogs.
Yeah.
And then, somewhere along the line, I'd met some breeders from Turner's Beach, and they used to pop into some of the shops I used to work at back then.
Yeah.
Kept in touch with them, and they had a little litter, and
You made the biggest mistake of your life.
I felt like I needed a pup at the time, and along came Zan.
Yeah.
So
it's not a mistake, it's a joke.
And yeah, so obviously Riley and Tanner have passed, and he's the only one I've got. Have all but and interesting when I got him, I had a choice, red and white or black and white, and I went for the black and white. So yeah, I've stuck with them. I do love them. I do like the look of them. Yeah.
So I suppose pulling it back a little bit to now we've covered your dogs. Why have you stuck with border collies? Why have you not looked anywhere else? We have done, and we should point out now, we won't go too much into like why you're not going to have a border collie because we have done an episode on that. But why up until now have you stuck with a border collie?
Oh, that's a good question. Really, I think I've always lived on rural properties.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it just had them, and liked they can run around and that sort of thing. So I've had the room for them. I have at various times taken them for walks in town, or we've gone somewhere more. Zan's done more of that than the others ever did. I guess really it just comes down to I like the look of them.
Yeah.
I like their personality. I like the black and white.
Yeah.
I'd still get we did have a ginger cat for a long time, which was quite cute, but I do like black and white cats. So yeah, I think I just love the look of them, and I love their personality.
Yeah.
I can't really go much past that. I do think they're just absolutely awesome.
I think a few things you've said sort of lean into, I suppose, now getting more into why we're talking about this is why people do choose the dogs that they choose.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I mean, interestingly with Fox, I don't know if I reckon I've said on here before, haven't I, how I ended up with him, which was we were leaving puppy class one night and I was waiting for you to lock the door or something, and I was flicking through Facebook and I showed you this, he's the last one left and, he's available. And if he hadn't have been the colour he was and the markings, he's got a very straight blaze, which I do like, and a little blaze, which I do like in a border collie, I wouldn't have even, I don't reckon I would have looked.
Yeah.
And
just caught your eye, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I think looks and aesthetic are a big part of choosing a dog, because you have to look at them.
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to live with them.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be the only factor.
No.
And I think this is where most people don't choose wrong when they start to have problems that are just a mismatch of dog and person. It's not that they've chose wrong. They just might not have realised what they were choosing.
Yeah.
Or they might have had that breed before. And I mean, this is where I suppose if you didn't have the knowledge that you do, like you could sit back and say, like Zan's a nightmare, I'm never having another border collie again, or has been a nightmare. He's like a lot better than what he was when he was younger, but you've had the border collie experience. You know what the breed is. So it's not as big a problem because you do know, but you also know that he is different to your previous dogs.
Oh, yeah.
As in breeding.
Yeah.
He's a different line. He's a different, completely different kettle of fish, even though he's still within a border collie. But I think looks and aesthetic and breed trends, which I suppose we touched on with Murphy, are a lot of the reason why people pick dogs. And I think we see it in puppy class year after year, don't we? We get a run on dash hounds, then we might get a run on cavoodles, then we might get a run on, this year already is golden retrievers.
Yeah.
We are, 28 days into this year, and I reckon we've had 28 golden retrievers in quiet or book into puppy classes. But that is also because there's been 2 fairly big litters born on the coast, so they're available.
Yes.
So it's timing. And some people do just, we heard it, and one of the golden retrievers we've got now, they said to you, didn't they, like, it's the dog he's wanted his whole life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I think that's probably me with a border collie. I'd always just wanted one. And then when you're able to, whether you move out of home or whether you're still at home or whatever, and then they just come up. And
do what I did, ask for forgiveness, not permission. I did ask for permission. I got told, do what you want to do, and by one parent, and one said, maybe not. No, listen to the one I wanted to listen to with Fox.
So, yeah, I think, but it's interesting because there's a lot of different dogs out there, and a lot of people like a lot of different ones. Like, we both like borders, but you've got a different colour than the ones I've always had. I like bigger blazes. I like more white on them than you do. You like smaller blazes.
She hates Fox.
I don't think
he's the wrong colour. His blaze isn't big enough. He's too slow.
I don't think I hate him.
No, she doesn't hate him.
But
if you didn't know the way you talk about him sometimes.
I don't. I'm not nasty.
You called him crap yesterday.
Yeah, it's so we all like different things,
do.
and I mean, a lot of the time, Maremas, you've got to say Maremas are cute as cute when they're pups, and a lot of pups are, and it sucks us in sometimes.
He's just looked up at you when you said that.
Good boy, Murph.
Do you know what's funny, when we got him and I put that real first baby picture I've got of him at home, Dad put that up on his Facebook page, and a friend of his commented and said, "Oh, it looks like my Maltese Shih Tzu," and Dad's like, "Yeah, now it looks like your Maltese Shih Tzu." But yeah, and this is probably moving into the next thing. What we don't realise sometimes that we're choosing, is I probably, even though I'd seen Murphy's mum and dad, his mum probably wasn't a good guest to go off because she was quite little for a Maremma. But I probably maybe didn't realise what a 50 kilo, I knew he was going to be big. Like, I don't want to make myself sound stupid, but I probably didn't realise the logistics of a 50 kilo dog, 45 kilo dog that he is now.
Exactly. And that's also, vaccinations. If something happens and you have to get them, they have to go under surgery. Everything, medication, it's all more because it's such a big dog.
He's on the same, not that he has it all the time, he just has it when he needs it, but he's on the same arthritis tablets from the vet that our miniature fox terrier was on. They are like 6 times the size.
Yep.
And they are about 6 times the price.
Yeah.
So these are all the things. which we've again done a podcast on this, so you can go back and listen to that if you like. But understanding genetics and breed tendencies, while also understanding that there are individual dogs within breeds and breed tendencies.
Yeah.
And we took the dogs we had to go and grab some things up at school, so we took the dogs for a walk before it got too hot, and one of the horses came to the fence. Murph walked past it like, horse, yeah, who cares? Zan barked and bounced around, and I reckon if you had dropped the lead, would have been right up at the fence.
Hello.
Saying very, very loud hello. And Fox was just like, what are we interested in? What are we doing? And I could just say his name or, and he just moved on. So, you've got obviously Murph doing what a Maroma should do, but within two border collies, completely different reactions to the same trigger, stimuli, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing to, because we hear it in class where people come and they've always had a border collie like I have. They've always had a shepherd. They've always had a beagle. They've always had whatever.
I'm convinced, and this is like I can say this because I've had family members with shepherds, but everyone who's had a shepherd has had shepherds their whole lives. Like it's just a thing. Like people
sometimes
you just love shepherds so much that they don't look outside the scope of it usually.
And I think that's probably what I did with borders, but
and that's what I'm saying. That's not a bad thing.
No,
because
but
you
I
understand
think
the breed and you understand their arousal levels, sensitivities,
all that sort of
exercise
stuff.
needs, all these sorts of things.
I think though, you still need to go, okay, it's a border collie. These are the normal sort of things that I'm probably going to expect, but it is individual. It isn't my last dog. Like all mine have been totally different dogs.
Yeah.
Totally different dogs. So I think that's sometimes where you can get stuck when you do stick to a breed. You might go, oh, wow, that one was really good. And then the next one might be, oh, wow, that's really good. And then the third one, different breeding. You might have gone to a different breeder and it might be a little bit harder work. It might have a little bit more higher drive, something like that. And it might be, wow, this isn't my last dog. No, it's not.
Yeah.
They're individuals. That's what you need to remember.
Yeah, and it's I think it's important to remember sort of on all of that is you're choosing a set of needs.
Yep.
Each dog has an individual set of needs, and a lot of that comes back to, again, we won't get into this too much because we've got a podcast on it, but genetics.
Yep.
That, they're going to need movement control if they're a herding dog. But then within a herding dog, like a blue heeler is going to need to bite and nip as part of their moving control, where a border collie is going to lie and stalk as part of their moving control. So within the same aspect. And then you've got Smithies and Beardies that are going to need to bark for movement control. So, and then you've got shepherds off to the side in herding breeds that are people movers. So within all of that, then you've got, if you go into your gun dogs, you've got your retrievers, your flushers, it gets quite complicated. So, well, not complicated, but it gets in depth, sorry, is probably a better word. So understanding the dog before you start talking to a breeder is really important. And then working out, well, okay, I do want an active dog. What does that look like for you? What does, the time that you need to put in, the exercise levels, what their nervous system might need to reset after going for a walk. Do you have kids? Do you have other dogs? As you said, you had border collies because you were rural. My dad only said to me this morning, like, how lucky our dogs are to live where they live.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like Murph probably would have been okay in town. He probably wouldn't have been too bad as far as Morenas go in town, but he can run at the fence and tell the, dairy cows we've got next to us at the moment to move on.
Yeah.
And he feels like he's done a great job. Probably doesn't do it so much now he's older, but he's meeting a breed need.
Yeah.
That in town that might have been at the next door neighbour's dog, the next door neighbour's walking past, the postman, the car going past, that then all of a sudden we start to label as bad behaviour. And this is where we start to get problems.
Yep. Yeah. So, it's definitely thinking about the different breeds, and once you've decided, okay, yep, I like that breed, I might look into that. They're still going to be all individual.
Yeah, and it
So,
still might not be what you imagined.
no, that's that's exactly right.
You know,
Yeah.
I imagined a life that I thought, at 20 with no real 21, whatever I was, with no real understanding, I suppose, of any of what I know now with Murph, that looking back on it now, like he probably maybe wouldn't have actually wanted to go for the walk that I do with Fox now.
Yeah.
Then it's probably not actually that appealing to him. He does like sitting somewhere and just watching. But I think it's okay to normalize this isn't what I imagined.
Yeah.
And it's okay to go, well, I'm here now, and actually, I suppose, in a way, grieve the dog that you wanted or you thought you were getting. But that also doesn't help the dog you might have now if there is a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I suppose just while we're on this as well, something we talked about a lot, I'm sure we've talked about on here, is, and you've touched on briefly, is not comparing
Yep.
to each other. If you compared Zen to, let's say, Tanner, you'd probably hate Zen. And that's not to say he's a bad dog and Tanner was a fantastic dog. Tanner is just an easier dog.
Yeah, definitely. And, and this is, I think, because Tanner and Riley were from the same parents.
And interestingly, from more working lines.
Yeah, they were both.
They're probably a generation off working lines, weren't they?
Well, Dad worked.
Yeah.
And Mum did a bit. So yeah, they were working lines. And definitely the same mum and dad, but definitely totally different dogs.
Yeah.
So Riley was very independent, very full on. Tanner was just like laid back, just waited, more along the Fox's sort of lines. He loved just mucking around, chasing the whatever I threw to him, or just the frisbee or something. We used to just go out and muck around.
Yeah.
Where Riley was, what are we doing? What are we going? Full on, flat out. So even within, if you get the same parents, the dog still might be different. Same breed, same parents, still individual dogs. So you have to think about that and what you're going to do with each of them, or with the different ones that you have. So
and I think probably just a couple of things off what you've said is, and I only actually saw something on TikTok the other day when I was flicking through, and I haven't actually told you yet, it's just what you've said's reminded me. And I thought, I know exactly your response to this, it was someone saying, if you want a breed of dog, but you want a more muted version of that dog, get a show line.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, no.
Because as we probably said on here before, Zen's a show line and he's probably the most border collie you've had.
Yeah. Oh, he's up with Riley there. But, again, they're individual. They still got that genetic propensity to be, movement orientated and that sort of stuff. So, and it depends where you are in your life. I was probably in a different spot in my life where I got Zen. So, I guess there was things that I could have done to help him out a little bit more at the time. I probably wasn't in a space where I could do that. Yeah. So,
but I think if you compare, like, out of your dogs, and yours probably easier because they've been similar breeds, but Riley and Zanny have, as you said, are probably similar.
Yep.
But I think the biggest differences, tell me if you think I'm wrong because they're your dogs, but one of the things I think the biggest differences has been is that Riley came in as a single dog, Zanny came in as the third dog.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And that's something that I don't think gets talked about enough either, that you just... it's a bit like kids, you don't have as much time.
No, and I spent a lot of time with Riley. She was the first one that I sort of took to a puppy class. And she was the only one, so I did spend, and she was, a bit full on, so I did spend a lot of time with her.
But you had the time to spend with her.
Yeah.
You didn't have to split. Like, obviously, it wasn't like 24/7. Your life was devoted to Riley. But
No.
the time that you had to go, okay, this is my time with Riley, wasn't this is my time with Riley and Tanner, or this is my time with Riley, Tanner, and Zanny. It was
just her.
It was just her. So obviously that makes a huge difference too.
Definitely. Like you say, by the time Riley came, oh my goodness, Zan came along. I had two others. They were obviously a lot older. I didn't do as much with them, but there was a lot of other things going on in my life, like other people's as well. And he probably didn't get the full attention that he should have got.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just things in your life. Third dog, you don't have quite as much time. So that can make a difference as well.
No, and I think it just does really come back to doesn't meeting the dog in front of you.
Yep, does, definitely.
You know, breed obviously plays a massive part, but if you've had, and sorry, before I go into that, educating yourself on what the dog's breed is bred to do is probably a really good first place to start.
Yeah.
But as we've mentioned, exercise needs, enrichment needs, because they're all going to be different for different breeds of dogs. And, you know, if you've had a Maltese Shih Tzu and then you move to a Labrador, they're going to be different.
Yep, definitely. Yep. So, having a bit of a look, and I guess, seeing what dogs you like the look of, and then researching what the go is with them.
Yeah.
Do you want a big one, a small one, you know? And if you don't think it's going to match what you want to do, have a look around a bit longer. See what else is in the size and what you like, and then see if those things match what your lifestyle is going to be. Because as we go through life, our life changes. See what you like, and then get a good breeder.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, isn't it?
That can make a difference.
So I suppose, you know, really wrapping it up, it's understanding that most behaviour challenges that people go through aren't about bad dogs, bad choices. It's just about learning and adjusting, and sometimes unlearning what you thought having a dog should look like.
Yep.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about creating a relationship that feels safe, clear, and sustainable for you both.
Yep.
And
definitely.
that will often start before you even get the dog.
Yeah, it does. Yep. Awesome.
Well, I think we'll probably wrap this one up.
Yep.
But if anyone, if anyone's got anything they want to tell us, or anything that's come off this episode, because it sort of is a little bit more of a, I don't want to say emotional episode, but it's, what's the word? Oh, don't look at me like that.
It is probably more emotional, because it often is. You see a dog and you go, yep, that's just, I always loved that dog, I just want one.
Yeah.
So,
but you're not alone, I think, is I suppose what I'm getting at, that, you know, if you've got a story about why you ended up with your dog, tell us.
Yeah. And it'd be interesting to know if people are like me and just stick to a breed, or you seem to be going to go through life, going through, from A to Z, through every breed of dog, which it's really, I think it's quite interesting how some people just stick to one breed, and then others just go, oh, I'll try that now. Now I'll try that one. Now I'll try that one. So
it's probably one of my friends told me the other day I've probably got undiagnosed ADHD, so that's probably But I think what else is really interesting is I'm really scared to actually, I think I know what I want for my next dog, and I think you know what I want for my next dog. But I went into Murphy wanting a golden retriever.
Yep.
I went into Fox wanting an Aussie Shepherd.
Yep.
So, I'd like to look at a mini American, and I think that's just a size thing. But, I probably ended up with a bloody Pekingese or something.
Chihuahua.
Oh, no.
Pomeranian.
I'm not a Chihuahua. A Pomeranian and a Cavalier are definitely on the list, but they're like my old lady dogs. You see these old ladies walking like cabs and poms and stuff. That's going to be me if I live to an old age.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. But no, God knows what I'll end up with.
All good. Let us know. Let us know.
Yes.
Shoot us a message or something, and let us know what sort of a person you are. Are you a bit of everything, or are you stick to the one breed? Be interesting to know.
Well, we will wrap this one up.
Awesome. If you liked it, don't forget to give us a 5-star review. Tell your friends.
Yep, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.